Welcome to the PharmaSource podcast.
Welcome to another edition of the PharmaSource podcast ahead of CDMO Live, which runs next May 25. Delighted to be joined today by John Childers, Director of Business Development at Wacker. John, a very warm welcome to the PharmaSource podcast.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here.
Okay, John, let's start. Maybe you could give us a short introduction to you and to the Wacker business and tell us a bit about what makes you and your proposition unique for customers.
Yeah, happy to. Thank you. So as you mentioned, I'm the Director of Business Development with our North America commercial team. Wacker Chemie is our parent company. It's a well-established company. It's been around over 100 years, based out of Germany. But they got into the advanced therapy space for manufacturing a little over 20 years ago, mainly through via acquisitions. Have a couple sites now in Germany, in Amsterdam, and then I work primarily out of our site down in San Diego, which was a plasmid acquisition site. So we do offer kind of a full scope solutions of plasmid through mRNA for R&D through commercial. And I think what really makes us unique and kind of stand out is we're a very science-driven organization, and it really helps us kind of anticipate the market and stay more in front of client needs. And I like to think that we've been making plasmids and mRNA before it was cool. That's kind of what helped us support large-scale mRNA production for COVID so quickly, and really kind of brought us to the forefront in this market here. So we're not reactive. We're constantly working to advance our own strains, increasing our proprietary technology offerings, and we have as I mentioned, a global support network of manufacturing facilities that's really fed through what we call our consortium, which is our kind of central innovation hub, continuing to improve the offerings that we can extend to our clients.
Great. John, we're getting towards the end of 2024. How has this year been for you and the business, and what's the focus for 2025? There's been so much disruption and change in contract manufacturing over the last 12 months or so. Been some acquisitions, some regulatory changes. What's that period of time look like for you and the business?
Yeah, a little bumpy, right? It was certainly challenging still across the industry. I mean, mainly in the financial markets, there seemed to be a lot of kind of sitting and waiting to see what happens as far as some of the rates and when the investments are going to be coming back in, and layoffs and closures. We were hoping to drop, still seemed to kind of be on par for 2023, and CDMO industry as a whole certainly wasn't immune. But I'd say that said, Wacker, we actually experienced a lot of positive growth. I mean, particularly in our San Diego site, we were able to secure some new projects. We actually increased headcount down there in anticipation of what's coming in. I think as the light's kind of here at the end of the tunnel, and as the industry is kind of resetting back to what the pre-COVID trends were, I think clients are really valuing organizations that offer that stability and assurance that we're going to be here from the long run. We've kind of all weathered the storm here together, and as I mentioned, Wacker's been around for quite some time, and we're not going anywhere. The experience of manufacturing for more than 20 years with a great quality track record, I think, seems to give them more confidence than someone who may have just kind of started and thought they could kind of jump into the CDMO space within the last 2 to 3 years. We have a solid team here, a great foundation, and continuing to look to build towards the future as the market kind of rebounds.
That's good. And you think 2025 will look much different to 24, or those trends will continue, do you think?
I hope so. I mean, it sure looks like it. It looks like some of the investments coming back in, they're certainly being a little more selective with where they're going, and more focused. And it could be a little bit challenging, I'd say, for startups still. It seems to be, those a little more proven technologies or further stage are getting a little more of the attention. But it does seem to be that it's bouncing back, and, people are feeling excited again, I'd say. You can kind of feel that energy when you're going to the conferences.
That's great to hear. You've mentioned a bit about the business and where the CDMO side started from, etc. What are the main products and services that you're investing in as a business at this point?
Yeah, so as I kind of mentioned, we have our large R&D center in Munich, our consortium. It's got a team of over 180 scientists there working every day on new technologies or ways to improve our existing offerings, mainly through like process efficiencies and things that can help reduce time and cost for our clients. It's a big area of focus for us. And as the industry as a whole, COGS is a running issue you'll hear a lot about. For us internally, we're improving the performance of our cell line to accelerate our delivery with better yields and higher quality and the shorter timeline. We're developing technology to feed into the viral vector space. We see a big need there. A lot of our clients are continuing to work in that area of AAV and lentiviral needs. We recently opened up our mRNA Center of Excellence as well, which was a major investment out there in Germany to continue large-scale production of mRNA. And we've had double-digit euro in the millions euro investments into our consortium, our R&D center, as well as the mRNA facility. So biotech, the unit, the division biotech within Wacker is very much a focus area of growth and is continuing to get a lot of attention.
Great to hear so many positive developments, despite, as you say, that things have been a little bumpy over that period of time. What about capacity? It's always a topic that we certainly hear a lot about. You've obviously mentioned the developments both in the US, but also in Europe as well as a business. What capacity does Wacker have currently, and what are the plans there in terms of moving forward?
Definitely say we're open for business. We have availability. As I mentioned, we have 4 sites globally, and I think we're doing a much better job of collaboration and redundancy of capabilities across those sites, really integrating the technology and experience we have across all of those sites to make it a true global offering of our platform services. We have, as mentioned, pDNA was the original acquisition out of San Diego, but now we're bringing mRNA and protein capabilities there. Sharing our plasmid expertise over with our Europe team. So we have plasmid manufacturing capabilities in Germany as well. Globally, we have 10 active suites that are available for production. And as I mentioned, it's a continued area for growth. We've had some pretty significant investments recently, continuing to have acquisitions across our business units, and have being able to operate globally really gives us open, flexible capacity for continued growth.
If we shift the focus slightly to talking about customers for Wacker, which are the ideal customers for you as a business to work with? And is that driven by a particular phase of development or manufacturing, by a certain specialism, or by location? What does that look like?
I'd say a little bit driven by phase, but that said, we can collaborate and support somebody from early R&D all the way through a late stage and even commercial product. We have capabilities to support that globally. I'd say there's no specific location as a filter, since we are a global unit. We have operating commercial teams in the US and across Europe, and continuing to look at other areas to possibly support as well, such as APAC. I'd say we're open to the majority of advanced therapeutics. We can support gene therapy, gene-modified cell therapies that are using vectors, obviously mRNA and plasmid needs, either as drug product or critical starting material. Our legacy biologic microbial team, that's really where our experience started, was classic biologics. So development of our protein secreting cell line, as well as advancements for protein folding, like microbials, vaccines. So if there's clients that are needing peptides, enzymes, fusion proteins, something that they may find challenging to produce, they could also benefit from partnering with our team. But I would say there is kind of a good sweet spot for us, as well as for the client, is just connect early. Really the IND phase 1 stage, when they're really starting to make those considerations for GMP, particularly with the plasmids, as you're shifting from a critical starting material up into having to need that for GMP for a later stage. We really bring a lot to the table for our clients there, as far as regulatory guidance and a real clear path for process scale up. It's not easy just to take it from the bench to a manufacturing suite, and we have a lot of experience doing that.
The industry as a whole is very focused on sustainability and reducing Scope 3 emissions. Mm-hmm. How, as a business, is Wacker supporting this drive to sustainability? What are your plans around your customers' carbon footprint, etc.?
Yeah, no, Wacker definitely appreciates that and supports that as well, and it's a major focus of ours. We actually have a pretty substantial sustainability program called Sustainabalance, and it's focused on empowering our own internal teams as well as customer initiatives to reduce our carbon footprint. That's through CO2 abatement programs or recapture programs, equipment facility upgrades, investments into renewable energy, process improvements, and working with other suppliers as well that have those sustainability initiatives that align with our goals. We are owned by a parent chemical company, and so very large scale global manufacturing, and they have very lofty targets to reduce the global emissions for all of our teams by 50% by 2030 and net zero by 2045. We've been inspected by multiple agencies. We received a gold sustainability rating from EcoVadis. We've had top scores from other organizations like CDP, S&P Global, the ISS, ESG. From our biotech team, what we're trying to do is really, as mentioned, focusing on improving the efficiency and production so that we can reduce some of that material waste and the COGS. For example, within our E. coli team, our EasyTech cell line, we've been able to reduce the COGS by about 3x and reduce host cell impurities by about 1,000x. And then with our full tech technology, we're getting a 5x increase in yield and a 4x reduction in working volume. So we're generating less waste while still improving the performance and the delivery for our clients.
Congratulations, John. There's a lot going on there, certainly. Great to hear. What's one market trend that our listeners and maybe our CDMO Live attendees should be aware of and should have front of mind as we close out 2024 and really start looking toward 2025?
Yeah, we do feel like there's light on the horizon, but companies, organizations still need to remain focused and strategic. Those funding activities, as I mentioned, for startups in particular, can still be a little bit of a challenge. We've been hearing from VCs that partnering with a CDMO early and having a secure CMC strategy is really a critical component to secure some of that funding. So I'd say, working with an experienced CDMO partner can really help you stay on track for budget and schedule. And, Wacker would be happy to partner and support that. We've even helped in writing submissions and letters of support, along with some project planning for funding requests. So I really think the thing would be is, think long term. The investment with an external partner can actually, substantially save you time and money in the long term.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. You mentioned earlier when we were talking about the ideal customer base and, sometimes driven by phase, etc., but the benefits of connecting early, and as you mentioned there, the clear benefits of partnering early with a CDMO in that funding decision. That's a really, really interesting point. So thank you, John. Final question then, I guess, as we look forward to CDMO Live in May 2025, and obviously a lot to come for Wacker before then, I'm sure. Is there any specific advice that you'd give to biotechs or pharma companies when partnering with a CDMO? What are some of the problems you see? Where are the opportunities? You mentioned that point there in the funding cycle about connecting early and the benefits that can have. Any other advice that you'd give more generally?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's very valuable, that point, partnering as early as possible. You want to make sure that your process is GMP-able. So I'd say, be honest, open and candid with your partners. Many early academic processes, they're just not amenable for GMP upscaling, and clients could really benefit from understanding this as early as possible. I would say when you are reaching out and you're in the RFP process or RFI process, be skeptical of overly aggressive promises around costs and timelines. You really need to be able to set realistic expectations with your partner, and it goes both ways. What you're expecting from your CDMO partner and what they're actually capable of delivering. I'd say connect and meet regularly with your PM and make sure that you are given full access to the team of SMEs. You want to be able to connect one-on-ones with your quality groups, with your manufacturing groups, PD, AD, whatever it may be, and also site leadership. The site leadership needs to show that they are invested in support your project and that you have their full buy-in as well. For us, we would hope that you would really view us as an extension of your team. We all have the same goals here. The goal is, let's get these treatments to the patients that need them. And Wacker is very invested in supporting and doing that with our partners.
Thanks, John. We are looking forward very much to hearing more from Wacker at CDMO Live 2025 on the 7th, 8th of May in Rotterdam. Thanks ever so much for your time today, and we look forward to speaking soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you live in a couple months here.
Experience the future of contract manufacturing at CDMO Live 2025. Join us at the World Trade Center Rotterdam on May the 7th and 8th, 2025 for an exclusive event that brings together the sharpest minds in biopharma outsourcing. For 2 days filled with market insights, best practices and partnering. Early bird tickets are now available, so head to cdmolive.com to download the agenda and to book your ticket.